Welcome back to another battle. In a battle between Onslaught, the destructive psychic entity, and Doomsday, the ultimate evolving monster of the universe, even in their basic forms, both characters are considered existential threats, entities capable of single-handedly challenging and defeating entire teams of the most powerful heroes in their respective universes. Both operate far beyond normal physical parameters. Doomsday can punch through planets, but Onslaught can erase them with nothing more than a thought. The outcome of this battle depends more on the interaction between Doomsday's biological adaptation mechanism and Onslaught's ability to manipulate matter, energy, and reality. To understand who would be the last one standing, we need to delve into the origins, nature of their powers, psychology, and the historic battles that have shaped each entity. Let's begin. Onslaught is not an ordinary mutant, nor is he an ancient god. He is the product of a psychic fusion between two of the greatest and most powerful minds on Earth, Professor Charles Xavier and Magneto. The origin of Onslaught can be traced back to one of the most shocking and tragic moments in the history of the X-Men. When Magneto forcibly ripped the entire layer of adamantium from Wolverine's skeleton, this brutal act caused an immense psychological and physical shock. Professor Xavier, in a desperate attempt to stop Magneto and save his own mind, as well as those around him, entered Magneto's mind. At that moment, Xavier witnessed Magneto's darkest memories, his brutality, and his deepest suffering. This direct contact, combined with the dark corners, suppressed emotions, and hidden fears within Xavier's own mind, triggered a reaction. The two consciousnesses collided and merged, giving birth to a new psychic entity, a child of rage, suffering, and pure psychic power. That entity was Onslaught. The nature of Onslaught is that of an Omega-level psychic energy entity. He is not bound by the ordinary laws of physics. Onslaught exists as a purely energetic entity, a colossal psychic storm capable of manipulating everything around him. Later, in order to interact more effectively with the physical world and demonstrate his authority, he created a physical form, a massive body covered in enormous black and red armor, resembling a combination of Magneto's armor and the majesty of a god. However, this armor is merely a shell, a tool that allows him to focus and amplify the already immense psychic power within him. Onslaught's abilities include a long list of powers that make him one of the greatest threats. Onslaught possesses power far beyond even Professor X at his peak. He can read, control, and manipulate the minds of millions of people simultaneously. He can erase memories, create illusions so perfect that victims cannot distinguish them from reality, and even control the actions of the most powerful heroes with a single thought. His psychic power is so immense that ordinary mental defenses are completely useless. Only beings with extraordinary willpower or those protected by special psychic artifacts can resist his intrusion. Onslaught possesses cosmic-level telekinesis. He can lift and move objects weighing as much as an entire city, create energy storms with destructive power comparable to nuclear weapons, and manipulate matter at the atomic level. He can alter the molecular structure of objects, turn metal into dust, or create energy shields that are nearly impenetrable. Ordinary physical attacks, even strikes from powerful warriors such as Hulk or Thor, are either absorbed or repelled by his psychic force fields. Onslaught also possesses the ability to absorb energy. When facing Hulk, he demonstrated the ability to absorb gamma energy, turning his opponent's power into his own and rendering energy-based attacks meaningless. Reality manipulation is Onslaught's most terrifying weapon. He can bend space and time, create pocket dimensions, and teleport himself or his opponents anywhere in the universe. He once created a perfect simulated reality to imprison and mentally torment hero. Onslaught's ultimate goal is to absorb the power of Franklin Richards, a child capable of manipulating reality on a multiversal scale in order to become an omnipotent entity, surpassing even the ancient gods and cosmic entities such as Galactus and the Celestials. Onslaught's battles against formidable enemies have clearly demonstrated the level of destruction he can unleash. During the Onslaught saga, he single-handedly declared war on all the heroes of Earth. He easily defeated and mentally controlled many members of the X-Men, turning them into puppets serving his purposes. When the Avengers and Fantastic Four stood against him, Onslaught displayed complete dominance. He defeated Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and even Hulk within moments. His power was so immense that the Fantastic Four and Avengers had to sacrifice themselves by charging into Onslaught to trigger an energy reaction that sent him into the negative zone, an alternate dimension. Only then could they temporarily remove him from the main reality. This demonstrated that defeating Onslaught required more than raw power. It required sacrifice and dimensional solutions. Onslaught also directly confronted Hulk. During this encounter, Hulk, fueled by limitless rage, unleashed blows powerful enough to level mountains. However, Onslaught was completely unharmed. Instead, he used his energy absorption ability to drain Hulk's gamma energy, weakening the Green Goliath and proving that pure physical strength, no matter how great, could not penetrate his psychic defenses and energy absorption capabilities. One of Onslaught's greatest weapons in battle is psychological manipulation. He does not merely defeat his opponents through sheer power, but also by exploiting the deepest weaknesses within their mind. He used Professor X's images and memories to psychologically disrupt the X-Men, causing them to hesitate and lose their will to fight. However, Onslaught is not without weaknesses. His very nature is the fusion of two minds, and the internal conflict between Xavier's underlying compassion and Magneto's brutality can sometimes create openings in his concentration. Furthermore, the arrogance and immense ego of an entity that considers itself godlike often cause him to underestimate his opponents, preferring to take pleasure in tormenting and controlling them rather than destroying them quickly. This has created valuable openings for heroes to counterattack. Ultimately, his power, though immense, is still based on psychic energy. Now, let's move on to Doomsday. Doomsday, also known as the Beast of the Apocalypse, is the embodiment of pure destruction, a creature created not through magic or advanced technology, but through the brutality of forced evolution. The origin of Doomsday can be traced back to prehistoric Krypton, hundreds of thousands of years before the planet was destroyed. A mad scientist named Bertrand conducted a horrific experiment designed to create the most perfect creature possible, one capable of surviving under the harshest conditions in the universe. Bertrand released a helpless infant onto the wild and dangerous surface of prehistoric Krypton. The child was killed by savage creatures and the brutal environment. However, Bertrand did not allow it to remain dead. He collected the surviving cells, cloned and regenerated the creature, and then released it again to be killed once more. This brutal process was repeated over thousands of generations. Each time the creature died and returned to life, it did not merely recover, it evolved, developing immunity to whatever had killed it. If it died from the cold, the next generation would be able to withstand freezing temperature. If it was torn apart, the next generation would develop dense, razor-sharp layers of bone armor. After countless deaths and rebirths, the creature had become a monster that no longer possessed any of the characteristics of its original Kryptonian form. It had become Doomsday. The culmination of this brutality came when Doomsday, whose power had reached an uncontrollable level, turned on and killed his own creator, Bertrand, before escaping Krypton and beginning his journey of destruction across the universe. The nature of Doomsday is that of a perfect biological weapon, an entity driven by pure rage and an instinct for destruction. He has no tactical intelligence, no ability to negotiate, and no compassion. His sole purpose is to destroy anything that stands in his way. Doomsday's power rests on three main pillars: limitless physical strength, evolutionary adaptation, and absolute endurance. Doomsday possesses strength that can rival or even surpass Superman. He can smash through a planet's tectonic plates and create shockwaves capable of leveling an entire city with a single punch into the ground. His speed also far exceeds the speed of sound, allowing him to move and attack at speeds that the naked eye cannot follow. His durability is nearly absolute. His skin and muscles are composed of incredibly dense biological tissue, reinforced by bone protrusions extending from his body, forming a natural armor that serves both as protection and as a weapon. These bones can pierce Superman's armor and most known materials in the universe. However, Doomsday's most terrifying ability, and the reason he has become a threat that cannot be permanently destroyed, is his evolutionary adaptation mechanism. If Doomsday is killed by a specific method of attack, he will die, but his body will immediately begin the process of regeneration. When he returns to life, he will be completely immune to that method of attack. This means that if he is killed by fire, he will return with the ability to withstand extreme temperatures. If he is killed by a specific energy weapon, he will develop the ability to absorb or reflect that type of energy. This mechanism makes finding a way to permanently destroy Doomsday nearly impossible, because every time he returns, he becomes stronger and more difficult to injure than before. Doomsday's battles against formidable enemies have become bloody legends. His most famous battle was his confrontation with Superman during the death of Superman. Doomsday appeared on Earth and began an unstoppable rampage, defeating numerous heroes along the way. When he faced Superman, the battle reached a devastating level of intensity, moving from the countryside to the heart of Metropolis. Both unleashed devastating blows, and neither side was willing to back down. In the end, they both delivered their fatal blows at the same time. Superman shattered Doomsday's skull, but was also impaled through the heart by Doomsday's own razor-sharp bones. Both collapsed. Doomsday died. But as mentioned, that was not the end. He was resurrected, proving that death was merely another stepping stone in his evolution. Before facing Superman, Doomsday had single-handedly challenged the entire Justice League. He defeated Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Bloodwind, Martian Manhunter, Maxima, and Guy Gardner. Each hero employed different strategies and powers, but all of them were overwhelmed by Doomsday's brutal physical strength and his absurd ability to withstand attacks. This battle established Doomsday as a global-level threat, one that required the intervention of Earth's most powerful warrior. Doomsday has also faced cosmic and godlike entities. He was brought to Apokolips and directly confronted Darkseid, the evil god and one of the most powerful entities in existence. The battle between Doomsday and Darkseid was a brutal clash that caused cracks to form across the surface of Apokolips. Even though Darkseid possessed the Omega Beams, a form of energy capable of erasing existence, Doomsday was still able to endure them and inflict significant injuries upon the god. Another particularly important battle when comparing Doomsday to energy-based entities was his confrontation with Radiant. Radiant exists as a being of pure energy without a physical form and was believed to be immune to conventional physical attacks. However, Doomsday found a way to kill Radiant. By continuously attacking and forcing his body to adapt, Doomsday developed the ability to interact with and disrupt Radiant's energy structure, proving that even incorporeal entities are not safe from his forced evolutionary mechanism. However, Doomsday is not without weaknesses. His greatest weakness lies in his limited intelligence. He is completely driven by instinct and rage. He cannot formulate plans, cannot employ complex tactics, and cannot control his anger. This makes him vulnerable to traps, especially those involving environmental or dimensional manipulation. In addition, his adaptation mechanism requires him to be killed or severely injured in order to activate, if an opponent has the ability to imprison him permanently without killing him. And first we have two entities of devastating power. If we look at the early stages of the battle, Doomsday would be the one to take the initiative. With his incredible speed and overwhelming strength, he would charge at Onslaught with punches powerful enough to level mountains. However, these physical attacks would be completely ineffective. Onslaught, with his Omega-level telekinesis and psychic energy shields, could easily stop every physical attack Doomsday throws at him. He could hold Doomsday completely still with telekinesis, or hurl him through buildings and mountains without even moving from his position. At this stage, Onslaught would have complete control of the battlefield, viewing Doomsday as nothing more than a brutish and unintelligent monster. However, Doomsday is not an opponent who can be defeated through conventional method. When Onslaught begins using energy-based attacks, such as psychic energy beams or energy storms, in an attempt to destroy Doomsday, the monster's adaptive mechanism would begin to take effect. If Onslaught accidentally kills Doomsday with an energy attack, Doomsday would die, but he would resurrect with complete immunity to that type of energy. This was demonstrated in his battle with Radiant, where Doomsday adapted to kill a being of pure energy. Therefore, Onslaught attempting to burn or tear apart Doomsday with energy could potentially backfire, turning Doomsday into an immune version of himself against Onslaught's own powers. Onslaught is not merely a source of energy. He is a psychic entity capable of manipulating matter at the atomic level and manipulating reality. He is intelligent and capable of planning. Onslaught could realize that attempting to destroy Doomsday through direct physical force or energy would be a mistake, because it would trigger his adaptive mechanism. Instead, Onslaught could use his telekinetic power to manipulate matter at the subatomic level. He could separate the molecular bonds within Doomsday, not to kill him in the conventional sense, but to disperse his biological structure throughout space, leaving Doomsday without a complete physical form from which to initiate the regeneration process. Furthermore, Onslaught's most powerful weapon in this battle would be his ability to manipulate space and dimension. Onslaught could create a pocket dimension, a simulated reality, or a void where there is no matter, no energy, and no external stimulus of any kind. He could transport Doomsday into it and seal him away permanently. In such an environment, Doomsday would have nothing to destroy, no one to fight, and no form of attack to adapt to. Doomsday's evolutionary mechanism depends on responding to lethal stimuli. If he were trapped inside an empty dimension with no stimuli at all, Doomsday would simply exist in a static state, completely neutralized without needing to die. Furthermore, Onslaught possesses the tactical intelligence of two of the greatest minds on Earth. He would quickly analyze Doomsday's adaptive mechanism after one or two encounters. Once he understood Doomsday's die to adapt rule, Onslaught would completely avoid killing him. Instead, he would use his reality manipulation powers to imprison, disperse, or control Doomsday's mind. In a direct confrontation, Doomsday could inflict some initial damage and force Onslaught to take the battle seriously. Doomsday's resilience and adaptive abilities would make him more dangerous with every attack Onslaught unleashed. However, once Onslaught recognized the true nature of his opponent and shifted to using his highest level abilities in reality manipulation, spatial control, and psychic attacks, Doomsday would have no answer. His lack of tactical intelligence and his vulnerability to being imprisoned without having to die would be Doomsday's fatal weaknesses when facing a psychic entity as overwhelmingly powerful as Onslaught. Onslaught would seal Doomsday inside a void dimension, where the monster would scream in solitude forever, with nothing to destroy, nothing to adapt to, and completely subdued by the will of the ultimate psychic entity. Therefore, in my opinion, Onslaught would be the winner. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much.